A four-star wide receiver with a familiar name is in the fold and is a Florida State Seminole. Devin Carter has been announced by Florida State as the next member of the 2026 recruiting class. And to break it down here is Michael Langston, senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. And Michael, Devin Carter, yes, the legacy. Please tell us about this young man that Florida State just landed.
Wow, wild one there. Committed FSU early, then later decommitted from FSU, getting like kind of how things were going. I think that was under the DJ being the quarterback era, and then came back to FSU once he was around the team, saw the way this offense was being run, and just fell in love with it. But a fun recruitment. I will say on this as a side note with Devin Carter. When he gets done with football, he's going to be very good. Probably one of the best interviewers as a recruit. Just a great kid. You feel comfortable around him. You ask him a question, he's one of those kids that go on for 2 minutes, and it's very articulate. It's very in depth as far as what he says, and also just a tremendous player. Going to be a great. I think slot's kind of where I envision him in college. Although I think sometimes, mostly he plays on the outside, but he's kind of that deep threat they like to use. Like they really like to line him up on the outside because kind of he can get that one-on-one situation, and then he could just his speed after the catch is just unbelievable. Gosh, where did he get that speed from? Couldn't be his dad that was pretty fast himself and Dexter, but definitely has Dexter speed. But I think the little difference he is very quick in space. I think Dexter kind of had that too, but his route running is exceptional from what I've watched, and just a guy can use a lot of different. I'm not gonna compare him to this guy because I'm not saying he's like this guy, but the guy he does similar things to is Devin Smith, who played at Alabama. Um, Obviously plays with the Eagles now. He does a lot of similar things to what that guy does. If you watch, like quick in space, if you don't break him down quick on the tackle, he can certainly make elusive moves and just go right by you. And just a really great talent that you'll be able to use on the deep threats and kind of do a lot of similar things to kind of what they do with Micaiah Danzy. I think is similar, although Micaiah's probably a little more physical and bigger. This kid's a little smaller. You have to get nutrition and get his body right. But the main thing with him is speed. He is so good after the catch with his speed, and he really can change the game because of how he can spread out the field with his game. And once he gets out there, it's hard to get him down.
Yeah, I was looking at one of these highlights. He's open in the corner of the end zone, and I love this because you can see the fan in the stands with his hands in the air. He's like, "Look, there he is. See, automatic. There you go."
Yeah.
Yeah, explosive out of his breaks, Michael. Just one thing from watching some of these highlights is he's only listed at 6 feet, but he plays a little longer. He just the way he plays, it seems not slot receiverish. So, for example, you got Jason Lopez in this class. He's 6 feet as well, but the way they present in terms of their highlights,
Hmm.
it's a little different. It's just it looks like at the point of the catch. I don't know if he's got longer arms or not, but there seems to be a little bit of length to the way that he plays the game. In addition to what you're talking about, which is explosiveness, he's elusive. He's hard to bring down. Professional, polished route running. It looks like for a high school kid as well, which is not always the case. A lot of times they rely on their athleticism. Yeah,
Right.
this looks like a solid prospect who could get in the mix early because he has some polish where maybe some kids in the past that have come here as freshmen that were stars didn't have that. Like Rashad Green had polish right away. Travis
Yeah.
Rudolph had polish right
Yeah.
away. He looks like he's got that to his game.
Yeah, he's got to have a kind of a lengthy frame for that height. When you meet him in person, it's like an interesting frame. It's not like he's not your normal size slot receiver when you look at him, but I think this guy can play both inside and outside. I think for FSU, I think he would be most effective in the slot because you're going to have guys that are going to be the outside that can go like LaWayne McCoy, or if you have Deuce Robinson getting back next year, or whoever you bring from the portal, you can utilize them. But to have him in that space is kind of where I want, because I want to find a way to get him. I think you'll see him line up all over the place outside because of that speed. I mean, he is so good at the double moves, the slants, the post, the flag patterns. I think he is so good at all those things, and certainly he's going to offer a lot. I don't think he's the guy that you're going to have to be that I looked at like day one where Javon Boggs, when I looked at him, was like, okay, this kid's so natural at this
Mhm.
position. His body looks ready. where I think Devin will have to get his body ready, and maybe you'll see some contributions maybe on special teams, and then sometimes during the season you'll see him get his 4 games in, but kind of the next year is when I really think he can take off, so his body's ready for all that college bang.
Yeah, it looks like to me that they brought in some shiftier players in this class. Like we've done a video as well on a certain running back that we don't know if he signed yet or not, but
Yeah.
we're assuming that he signed to Florida State. There just seems to be a little bit more shiftiness in this class where last year's group I thought there was a little bit more power. Boggs plays as a little bit of everything. Like I get that, but when you bring in like Tayshawn Gelsey or you bring in Chroma and guys like that last year, I mean those guys had a little bit of physicality and they'll run right through you. It looks like Florida State between these two guys, Jason Lopez is another, shiftier straight slot receiver. Like he almost looks like to me the next Braxton Berrios or the next, who's the other guy that they had? I'll think of his name later, but like he looks like carbon copy of some of those guys that Miami had that operated in the slot.
Xavier Restrepo.
Restrepo. Thank you very much.
Those guys were I think that's why Miami felt like they would pull it out, but Luke Laux and the coaching staff for football really got that done. But just a really good class overall. I think to your point, it's a lot more elusive guys outside of their routes, where Boggs is more, it's not a knock like Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua type of guy, where he's just really good in space. He's going to find a way to get open. He knows how to get open on his route, but it's a different way where these guys are more quickness in space, can make you miss, and then have a little more maybe speed. Because when you think of Jalen Boggs, you don't think of speed. You're thinking of a guy that finds a way to get open, just a playmaker. But I think these guys like Devin Carter and certainly the running back you allude to and Maury Thomas, different guys, Jason Lopez, even Darion Williams, Brandon Bennett, those are all guys that are really speed guys. So I think they've certainly really coveted for their wide receiver group speed this year, and they've really hit high on it too.
Yeah, so that was the last thing I was going to say and give you a chance to speak on, which is Tim Harris and the work he's done in this class. You were looking for immediate impacts from a lot of the new position coaches, not just the coordinators, but the position coaches. It seems like Tim Harris has been a home run hire in year one at Florida State.
100%, especially if you're going by recruiting, and you go by what LaWayne McCoy looked like during the season, even stuff they did with Deuce. Deuce didn't really do a lot when he was at USC compared to what he did at FSU, over 1,000 yards. So certainly if a guy's in room for a bonus, I would put Tim Harris Jr. up there. And then 2, what he did in high school recruiting. You're talking about a 4-star out of Darion Williams, a 4-star out of Jason Lopez, a 4-star out of Devin Carter. All these guys, and they really targeted speed, and not just speed but playmakers. They wanted guys that, hey, they can come in here, they can help us right away, and all these guys can fit that category, because I harp on this a lot every year, that this team needs more speed over the top of what they do, and it kind of showed at different points during the season that they just didn't have a lot of guys, and you saw that that was part of the reason why they leaned on Deuce so much, because he was such a matchup issue. So I think you add more speed to this team, it certainly gives them a lot of different options that they didn't have, and I think they wanted to add speed and more playmakers, and they certainly hit a home run. I think Tim Harris Jr. did the best, I think, out of probably any position I can think about that they recruited.
Legit. Yeah, I don't know how many raises need to be issued after this season, but Tim Harris has an argument. He certainly does. Good job by Florida State's new wide receiver, new in his first year for Florida State's wide receiver coach. Now, next up for Florida State is to dump money on the offensive line in the portal. We all know that's what they're going to need. So that's why you want to head over to warchant.com, not just for coverage today. You could sign up for as little as $1 right here, right now at warchant.com. But you head over to the premium recruiting board. It is also the portal board. It magically changes into this other thing after the early signing period is over.
Oh, yeah.
Florida State is going to be looking at roster retention and roster additions for the transfer portal. So head over to warchant.com right now and get the blow-by-blow from early signing period, Wednesday through Friday, up to Mike Norvell's presser on Friday at noon. And then it'll be all about the portal. Head over there right now. Sign up for just $1 today. And always, you can hit the subscribe button here on Warchant TV for the biggest breaking news. That is free to you right now. Michael, appreciate the insights as always. And this was a fun one to do. I can tell there was a little extra for you on Devin Carter.
I love doing this breakdown, especially when I get connected with certain kids. Devin Carter, kind of similar to how I felt about Chris Thompson when I interviewed him, who's the best kid I've ever dealt with, by the way, in any situation. But you love being around kids. They're good people. They're good kids, and guys that I feel are going to make other people better. I think you have guys in your locker room like Devin, it's going to make other people better. And want to play hard and the legacy too, so it makes it a lot of fun. So yeah, this was a lot of fun.
There it is. Well said by Michael Langston. We'll talk to you everybody right here next time on Warchant TV. Hit the like button on the way out.